We begin with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Senator Dooley.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on to roll call, Chief of Staff Saba, would you please call the roll? Sorry, friends, it might take me one extra second. Okay. Senators Barnett,
Here.
Frank,
Here.
Daggett excused, Dare Comfort, Dooley, Garcia,
Here.
Gibney,
Here.
Pulse,
Here.
Shell,
Here.
Schmeck,
Here.
Sierra,
Here.
Sternhagen,
Here.
Tennant,
Here.
Vasquez, Wisser,
Here.
Communications Chair Fink,
Here.
Finance Chair Peterson, Government Affairs Chair Kennecke, Chief of Staff Sabo here, Vice President Bentz, President Peterson,
Here.
AFA,
Here.
AISA,
Here.
BSA, unexcused GSA,
Here.
LASA, IRC, unexcused Unified Council, Unified Council,
Here.
UPC,
Here.
Advisor Schmidt,
Here.
Advisor Grieve.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Here.
Moving on to adoption of the agenda. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda? Seeing none, can I entertain a motion to approve? Senator Brink.
Second.
All those in favor of adopting the agenda, please signify by saying aye. All opposed? The agenda is adopted. Moving on to approval of the minutes. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, can I entertain a motion to approve? Senator Shell,
So moved.
is there a second? All those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye. All opposed? The minutes are approved. We'll continue down our agenda, beginning with open forum item A, and we will welcome up the university's Vice President and General Counsel, Dr. Tracy Green. Yeah, sorry. I don't know what the room setup is tonight, so.
Big table Monday.
Welcome.
My little disappearing trick. So, thank you all for having me come and join you today. Just wanted to tell you a few things that I'm working on, a little bit about the Office of General Counsel, and then open it for questions that you might have. So I'm really thankful to be here. Really like meeting with all of you every year and kind of letting you know what I do, and then hearing from you what you're worried about, what you're interested in, and things that I can maybe put on my own plate that might be useful. I did bring some, probably not enough, of these handouts for you, so I'll probably just drop some on each side and let you guys grab. Do you guys want a couple up here?
You can pass them around to them first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure, because I got one here too. Some for sharing up here. Let's see, I don't follow instructions very well. Some for sharing down here. So I'm Tracy Green, not a doctor unless you call Juris Doctor that. So I do legal stuff here for SDSU, manage the Office of General Counsel, and coordinate all of the legal representation for the university for employees in their role and scope of employment. I also oversee the human resources function and emergency management. So you might see my name come up in a few areas if we put out some training on emergency management or we're helping with human resources. On this sheet, you'll see there's a couple other really great staff in the Office of General Counsel. I have an assistant general counsel who helps with a lot of great legal work proactively for the university, Graham Wheat. And then we have a paralegal, Jessica Hike. And she's full paralegal and helps us with all of our legal filings and keeping us all in order and straight. So great office. If everybody has questions, comments, anything that's ever needed in the policies and procedures area for the university, or if you have questions, concerns, or things that I can help with on the university's behalf, please stop by. I have an open door policy. I know there's also a great attorney that Students Association contracts with for student matters when students need an attorney. So keep using that great resource. We refer to that all the time. Students have personal issues or legal services. So that's really the scope of our office. I wanted to call out and just remind people of a few things that are on this spreadsheet or on this document that I shared with you. And first is the free expression provisions. The next thing that I cover in there is the intellectual diversity law. Finally, I talk about divisive concepts on this. And these are some of the summaries that we provide to all staff also. So you guys have much of the primer here that I give to all staff when we train, when we come back to campus. We want this to be an open and expressive campus where people can freely express themselves within the parameters allowed by law. The only thing we restrict is when it becomes unlawful, threatening, threatens violence, goes into those discrimination and harassment portions, but otherwise, we really believe in that open expressive campus. So all the grounds are open for spontaneous speech and protest by students, student organizations, employees, and their guests. That doesn't mean all third parties can just come on. We do ask that they register when they come on campus to express, and then we manage that. The other thing that I would say is we don't create zones where individuals are having to go stand to express themselves. So if students or orgs or others that are in that group want to go express themselves, it's anywhere in the green space, except if we close it for some kind of reservation or if it's mission driven. So we have some really close on-campus areas where we grow grapes for research. And we really don't want people out tramping through the grapes and smashing them. That's for harvest. When you're making wine, that's not for when we're protesting. And so we do restrict if there's some kind of mission-driven restriction on those spaces. We try to be really, really light touch. The second thing on here, as I mentioned before, intellectual diversity law, where we can't tell someone they have to believe a certain way. And we need to maintain all of these areas the right way. Under divisive concepts, there's a really long definition there, but essentially with these divisive concepts, a professor can't require you to adhere to or adopt those beliefs that are specifically prohibited in this. Those need to be just expressed if it's mandatory for a certain curriculum. It's for you to learn the curriculum, but not necessarily to have to adopt or adhere to those belief systems. When we do training for employees, we also do not mandate that they have to take that training, and we do not require them to adhere to those beliefs either. So just a few provisions there. Any questions on those few items there at the front? It's usually question area. At this time, maybe someone will think of one.
I was just maybe thinking of maybe an example of one of those divisive topics, but like evolution maybe fall under that and say a biology course. And then whereas, professor's explaining that, but then the student doesn't necessarily agree with that. Would that be an example of that? Just an example.
If it's, so to your question, would evolution be something that could be taught in a course, a biology course, and would it be covered by it? If that evolutionary principle is like considered against the religion principles or things like that, I can see where that interpretation would come. In that course, if that is germane to the curriculum and something that's very important for individuals to at least understand the concept, then it can be taught as an element. There should be a syllabus disclaimer or something that you'll probably see associated with that course, but the professor can't require someone to say that's my belief, can't require them to agree with it. And oftentimes we have students or others who will say, I don't believe in that. I understand, but I don't believe in that. And that's perfectly acceptable. Great question. Okay, no other questions on that topic? If you think of them, I'll still be here a little bit longer. On the remainder of this handout, what I've done is listed out the current policies that we are finalizing. The university has a process for when we adopt new policies. First of all, we may adopt them because the Board of Regents changed a policy. We may adopt a new policy or change one because the law changed. or we might find a business practice that needs some kind of policy around it, might be required by accreditation or a federal financial aid rule or something. And so they're always based in some kind of existing rule or statute. The ones that we're currently working on are the university policies circulating for final approval. There's several of them that went through this fall, and they'll be posted here very, very soon. I would call to note the one on the facilities and grounds activity policy, 6.7 and 6.8. In those policies, we modified them because of House Bill 1178, 2024, which just required that we made sure also when we do the facility use and expression policies, that we ensure that obscenity or illegal obscenity would not be in those kinds of activities. So we cleaned that up, pursuant also to the board updating its policies. But another item that was included in those was reasonable time and place manner restrictions. And so these are some time constraints on when the campus green is open. And so there are times late at night when we go ahead and close it. SDSU has always had the policy of no camping overnight, no stakes in the ground. We don't want you hitting a wire when you pound that in the ground, no fires, no things like that. So we've added a couple other things in there to try and make sure that we have reasonableness in the use of the campus. So that's one that I would suggest taking a look at. Other ones, we did a couple updates to the student athletes use and commercialization of name, image, and likeness. The only small edits there were related to some of the NCAA changes and the way we process those. And that's about all there was in that policy. The next ones are ones that are posted for campus feedback right now. And as I said, we have a process for how we go about renewing or updating, adding policies to our policy manual. And one of the very important things is we draft it up, we work it through committees, we talk to people, gather feedback. But then when we have a good solid draft, we put it out so that everyone can provide us campus feedback. And that includes to Students Association. And so I would encourage you to go to that university policy manual and take a peek at the drafts. If you have questions, comments, send them to our office. Jessica Hite will gather them all up. We take them, we look at whether or not we just need to answer the question or whether maybe there's a suggestion or an edit, and then we'll make those or we'll bring them forward to leadership to make decisions on it. Then we put them back out and post them as they're finalizing. So really important for that feedback. We have had feedback in the last several years from various groups, whether it's Faculty Senate or Students Association or just an employee or a student. And we've made some changes to those drafts to try and get them right. So I can give examples of that, but it's really important. So I really, really encourage you to give us those questions and feedback. So those are the few things that I wanted to highlight for you today. And then I can stand for any additional questions on other topics.
So this one, I apologize, it'll be completely out of left field. This is a personal curiosity due to a certain committee that met recently. But in our absence form policies, it says that a teacher must accept a university excused absence if it's been approved by the office and if it's not during finals week. However, on the actual excused absence form itself, it specifically says that the student agrees to make up any work that they would be missing. So in cases when the work that the student would be missing is fundamentally something that cannot be made up. So for example, if there was a summer course, which was a tour of industry, it's something the engineers sometimes do. If that particular student would be absent for that tour, then they are missing out on something that realistically cannot be made up. So in cases like that, is the teacher still required to accept that absence form?
That's a great question, and I'd probably have to say it depends, and everybody hates that. I know there's smiles around the room. So in general, first of all, it'll depend on what's in the syllabus. And then I can look for an inconsistency in the form and the policy too, because that's a great question. The university can still require people to either make up things to complete the curriculum and find other ways. Sometimes it has to be done during a certain time. Sometimes it can be done with an eye while it carries out. And so although you might be excused from a particular class, you may not always be excused from the content or the actual activity in full. So that would be my it depends answer. But I'll look at that question even further and send it back through.
Okay, thank you.
Other question?
Curious, is there a good way to kind of keep up with what policy areas you guys are focusing on at the moment? Like, are there meetings or something that somebody was curious kind of what?
That's a great question. So we don't maintain minutes because policies come from all areas of the university. However, we post everything on that webpage. What else we do is every time that we're working on a draft, when that draft comes out for circulation, we send it to all the shared governance groups and the vice presidents so that they can distribute it based on kind of what the subject matter is and the interest. So that's what we've been trying to do. We also put it out in newsletters and other communications of the university. And if anybody has the perfect metrics so we can get those out for that feedback, I would love to learn it. So I'm open to.
Ma'am, I'm curious if your office was furnished a copy of the legislation the Senate passed, I think, either the last meeting of the last school year or the meeting before that one about the Senate's opposition to the Fed policy. And I'm curious if that sparked any discussion amongst the administration. Because I heard some inklings of it being a nationally mandated policy and rumors here and there, but I'd appreciate it if we could clear the air about that.
Oh, sure. So thank you for the question. I am aware of what was provided by Students Association that was shared with senior leadership in their review of the policy. It was considered, and then the final decision was made based on conversations, not locally, but with board staff. There was a final decision made in that regard. But we consider all the feedback, all the resolutions, absolutely.
Does your office or the university in general employ lobbyists to get bills moved in a direction beneficial to the university?
Great question. So my office does not hire lobbyists to do that work. All of the legislative work that is done at the state level really goes through the Board of Regents staff. They are the ones who do that work on our behalf, and we go through them to do that work. If we're asked to testify by the legislature or others, then we will come upon request, but we don't actively lobby in that way. The university does have a contract with an entity and is currently going through an RFP for a new representative who helps with federal affairs. And so they would have to report any lobbying dollars if they did any of that to comply with our federal regulations.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any further questions?
I have one final one. Does your office also handle university risk management, or is that a different office?
Right. So we recently hired a risk management coordinator, and that does report up through me. It's a coordinated effort with other offices on campus, and we're currently in the process of reviewing, along with internal audit and with finance and with others, the proper enterprise risk management structure for the university to adopt and deploy. So we're in the beginning of moving that great work.
Thank you.
What else?
Great
so much for joining us,
questions.
Vice
Thank you
President.
all.
Continuing down our agenda, we'll move on to open forum item B, public comments. Are there any members of the public that wish to address the Senate tonight? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to committee and staff reports, beginning with my own. A few things. So if you guys didn't see, enrollment numbers came out last Wednesday, and we have the largest freshman class ever in the history of our university. So that is very exciting. Congrats. Yeah, good job, freshmen. Some other things I've been working on this past week. So Vice President Benson and I met with Dr. Grieve this past week. We discussed the game safety communication that you all saw went out last week. We've also been discussing the general activity fee survey that will be going out here. So working on some wordage for that and getting that out hopefully within the next month, as well as some of the food exemption policies and some of the difficulties students have faced with that. So be looking for updates on all of those things. I've also been working on getting some advertising for Brookings Area Transit Authority, or the Beta Bus, so be on the lookout for those, information about $2 rides for students. And then finally, my thing I'm most excited about, we got news that our Aunt Flo free period products will be expanding to the Wellness Center. So yes, Fairy Landmark was very excited. We met with her, and they will be piloting it in their kind of main bathroom, not one of the locker rooms. So yes, we're very excited about all of that. That is the end of my report. We'll move on to Vice President Bentz.
Thank you, Madam President. The only item I would report on tonight is that the Board of Directors convened Friday night to nominate 8 brand new senators at large to join the Senate. You will all formally approve them this evening during a vote later on the agenda. But I'd just like to thank the Board of Directors for that really long night we all had. Hope that you found it fulfilling, and I think that we found 8 phenomenal candidates. So thank you again to the Board of Directors, all those members that were present, Senator Dooley, Senator Shell, Senator Garcia, Senator Sierra, and Senator Sternhagen. Thank you so much for all the time that you put in that evening, as well as members that served as ex officios on the Board of Directors at the Government Affairs Chair Kennedy, Finance Chair Peterson, and President Peterson was also there to provide some support as well. So again, welcome to the 8 brand new faces around the table, those being Ms. Fink, who you're already familiar with. She will be formally nominated tonight, as well as Ms. Hofer, Ms. Jensen, Ms. Peterson, Mr. Campson, Ms. Spear, Ms. Wessler, and Ms. Robbins. Welcome to the table, and we look forward to the work we're going to do together this year. That is it. That's all.
Thank you, Vice President Bentz. Chief of Staff Sabo.
Well, I also just wanted to welcome the new senators around the table. Sorry, I'm going to be so annoying to you this year and email you all the time. So hopefully you get used to that pretty quickly. If you guys have any questions or anybody around the table about office hours or anything, I did record like a video of all the orientation slides. So if anybody just wants a refresher, let me know. I can send that out to you. And then if new senators, if you could just check your email, I emailed you. And I would just love if you could fill out that form so I can get our roster fully created. Yeah. And then the new office hour sheet is posted in the office. End of report.
Thank you. Finance Chair Peterson.
Just a few quick things. First of all, you'll see that the budgeting philosophy is up for a vote tonight. So I encourage you all to read that and ask any questions, have any discussion you may want to have. Second, we had another long night this week in the Finance Committee. So we met on Wednesday night, and we had the Wellness Center and Student Health Clinic, the Union, the School of Performing Arts, and Rabbit Ride all came in and reported their GAF breakdowns. So they're some of our biggest recipients of GAF dollars. So they came in and told us where those are ultimately spent. So that was good to know, good to learn. And then lastly, you'll start seeing some student organizations that have to come to our meetings and present. They will be signed up starting next week. So be looking forward to that.
Thank you. Government Affairs Chair Kennedy.
Hello, everyone. We've got a few things for you tonight. First of all, I went to City Council last week and gave them a report. I told them about the Beta Bus for the transportation, dollar rides, as well as the neighbor state. And then we're excited to announce that we will also be having representatives from the City Council coming to report to you guys. I think once a month, we decided the last Monday of every month, we'll have City Council members Andrew Rasmussen and Brianna Doran coming in to just give a few updates on what's happening at the city level. So,
Thank you. Communications Chair Fink.
Yes, hello, everybody. I suppose for this week, all I really had was the Rabbit report. updated that on the website. We had some really good submissions in the route report this week, so that's very exciting. I've been checking the student feedback form. We haven't got anything since August, so I'm hoping that's a good sign. I suppose the only thing out of the ordinary would be the safety communications email that was sent out, like President Peterson said. So that was good to know how to send out a different format of email besides the rabbit report. So yeah, should be any.
Thank you. Move on to ex officio reports, beginning with AFA.
This past week, AFA helped out at the 9/11 climb up at the stadium. We brought in some oranges and bananas and some refreshments for everybody that participated. And then earlier today, we had a meeting to go over some float ideas for Hobo Day, and then some events that we're planning with the Veteran Affairs Office for Warrior Week that's coming the week before Veterans Day. And a report.
Thank you. And I realize since we have new people around the table, I should maybe spell out the abbreviations. So that was Armed Forces Association. We'll now go on to the American Indian Student Association.
Hello, we are planning on the 30th. The 30th is Orange Shirt Day, also known as Every Child Matters Day. It's to raise awareness about trauma suffered to Indigenous children when they were sent to boarding schools, residential schools. So we will be going downtown to paint windows, to honor children for Hobo Days when the floats go by and all that. We're still ironing out some specifics, so we're gonna meet on Wednesday to discuss that. And report.
Thank you. Gender and Sexualities Alliance.
All right, so last week we had our trivia night. I was the MC. I'd say we had about 50 to 60 people. I'm still waiting to get the sheet back on how many people actually attended, but we did have a great turnout. We had a lot of teams, a lot of really good answers, some funny answers too. Our next event we are planning for is going to be our comedian. I can't remember the comedian we have coming off the top of my head, but I believe it's October 8th they're coming down. And GSA will be having our regular meeting this Wednesday at 6 o'clock in the MCC. The report.
Thank you. Latin American Student Association.
So today, LASA brought in a bunch of free food into the OMA. We had about 200 participants, which is a great success. And this Thursday, we're having our regularly scheduled meeting and report.
Thank you. Unified Council.
IFC side, most of the fraternities will start giving out bids soon. Others will continue recruitment for a little while.
The sororities have now started with continuous open bidding. We have decided as a council that we will no longer be having all Greek formal. We did feel that it did not bring enough of the Greek-led community together and decided that a different all Greek event would be better and bring more people. We've also had the highest recruitment retention rate since fall of 2015. And it would work.
Thank you. University Program Council.
Today marks the first day of our poster invasion event, which is going to run Monday through Wednesday at the market stage in the Union. Tomorrow we have our Jack Scott Talent auditions for the Jack Scott Talent program during Hobo Week. So if you guys have any really cool talents that you want to come and show us, we'd love to have you. And then Saturday we have our Sanderson Gardens event where we'll bring students out there to pick some form of the edible thing. That's all. End of report.
Thank you. We'll move on to advisory reports, starting with Dr. Schmidt.
Good evening. Just have one thing today. I just wanted to reinforce the budget philosophy. What you guys are voting on today is the measuring stick for the finance committee for the remainder of the year. So if that's done properly, that philosophy is what they're gonna measure every expense against in terms of prioritization and such. So those that are not on the finance committee, this is probably the time that you have a chance to influence how money is gonna be spent, other than when you vote on the entire budget when it's over, which is in like February when we get that all together in March. So end of report.
Thank you. Dr. Grieve.
Thank you. Good evening and congratulations to the new senators. Just one thing, thank you for sending that letter out. Students really did a great job. There was so much campus spirit, and we just want to make sure that everybody's safe. So it's all of our jobs to make sure that there's safety, especially when we're in big numbers. So thanks to everyone.
Thank you. Move on to committee reports. Are there any committees that would like to report out tonight? Senator Sternhagen.
So the Academic Appeals Committee has had a completely unprecedented 2 appeals within the last week. So, as usual, there is only so much details that can be shared. The first appeal, which is actually, we didn't decide in the first meeting, so there's a second meeting on Wednesday to keep discussing it. That one dealt with some differences in interpretation of the attendance policy. The question asked of Tracy Green was not related to the appeal, but something that was kind of brought up while in the meeting. So that was not related to the appeal, but similar. And then the second appeal, which is the one that happened right before the social today, that one was pretty mundane and uninteresting. So there's really nothing to report.
Thank you. Other committees I would like to report out tonight. Senator Gibney.
Pertinent to the Academic Affairs Committee, not the Academic Appeals Committee. Both say AA in my calendar, which is a little concerning, but we have a meeting scheduled, I say we, there is a meeting scheduled with the provost this Friday from 10:30 to 11. So if any other members of the Academic Affairs Committee would like to attend, we're going to be discussing English proficiency among professors, as well as D12 page and syllabi cohesion, because that's been in their agreements amongst the student body.
Thank you. Senator Shemek.
So the library committee met this past week, and we kind of just started out with a brief introduction of everybody on that committee. And then we kind of focused in on the different points the library committee was going to be tackling this year, not really getting into specifics. But one thing, we approved our committee charter, and there was a stipulation on there that the student association is actually allowed to appoint a graduate student to be on that committee. And I thought with the kind of discussion we had last week with President Dunn, that maybe having some graduate feedback on that committee, then moving towards the R1 status, I think the library has a lot to do with that. So maybe moving forward, trying to find a graduate student to fill that vacancy would be in our best interest. And report.
Thank you. Any other committees that would like to report out tonight? Okay. Seeing none, do we have any questions for any of the reports given tonight? Vice President Benz.
I have one for Senator Shemek, just with regards to that graduate student position on the library committee. Is that something new just added in the charter, or was that something existing?
Not to my knowledge, we didn't make any edits to the charter during that meeting. We just approved it. I'm not sure if that's something they came up with last year, or it's kind of just one we're gonna keep rolling with, but I don't think it was anything new. I just wonder if it just never got brought to attention.
Any other questions for any of the reports tonight? Okay, seeing none, we'll move down to unfinished business, beginning with item A, our 2024-2025 budgeting philosophy. Can I entertain a motion to approve our budgeting philosophy? Senator Shell, is there a second? All right, Senator Shell, you have the first right to debate.
Thank you, President. Good evening, everybody. It was through the Finance Committee that we came up with this philosophy that we would prioritize representation at competitions and conferences, public events, lodging, advertising, and traveling, such as motor pool expenses. We believe that focusing on these priorities will be in the best interest of the student body and will help alleviate a lot of those financial struggles that they may face while trying to pursue their passions here on campus.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the budgeting philosophy? Finance Chair Peterson.
To note, we've had a lot of questions on the whole lodging expense with the new bed policy that the university has put into effect. So just a note on there, on the second page under travel, we did double our limit of funding for lodging. So it used to be $25 per person per night. Now it is $50 per person per night.
Thank you. Senator Brink.
Did that increase have to come out of anything else that was prioritized last year? Or are there any like major marked differences from what we approved last year?
Finance Chair Peterson, do you want to answer that?
There's not really a whole lot of differences. This is just kind of, we did ultimately up our special allocation fee. That fund is $8,500 now. It was previously $7,500, yeah. So we do have a little bit more money in the fund, and then once again, that's just first come, first serve. So if someone comes to us and needs some lodging expenses covered, that's the limit that we will cover. Otherwise, a lot of it is relatively similar to last year's, just a couple of different priorities in the rankings, but nothing significant has changed except for that $25 to $50.
Good question, thank you. Any other discussion or questions about the budgeting philosophy? Senator Gibney.
I tried not to do this, but just so that the future senates don't have to do it, can we move, I move to amend this so that case by case is not grammatically incorrect, case dash by
Can we
dash.
consider that a friendly amendment?
Yes.
Are there any objections? Okay, thank you, Senator Gibney. We will amend that. Any other discussions or questions about the budgeting philosophy? Okay, seeing none, we'll take this to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please call the roll?
I would love to. Senators Barnett.
Aye.
Brink.
Aye.
Daggett. Excused. Derek Comfort. Dooley.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Gibney.
Aye.
Pulse.
Aye.
Shell.
Aye.
Shemek.
Aye.
Sierra. Sternhagen.
Aye.
Tennant.
Aye.
Vasquez.
Aye.
Wessler. Oh, sorry. Whistler. Communications, nope, you're not you yet. Sorry. Finance Chair Peterson. Government Affairs Chair Kennedy. Chief of Staff Sabo, aye. Vice President Benz.
The ayes have it, and the 2024-2025 budgeting philosophy is approved. We'll move on to unfinished business. Item B, Resolution 24-2-R. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please introduce this item?
Resolution 24-2-R. Title of resolution reads, SDSU Students Association supports the implementation of free period products in additional student union restrooms. Prime sponsors include President Peterson, Finance Chair Peterson, Government Affairs Chair Kennedy. Sponsors include Chief of Staff Sabo, Vice President Bentz, Communications Chair Fink, Senators Sternhagen, Brink, Gibney, Wisser, Garcia, Tennant, Vasquez, Daggett, and Dooley.
Would anyone request this item be read in full? Seeing none, can I entertain a motion to approve? Government Affairs Chair Kennedy. Is there Government Affairs Chair Kennedy, first right to debate?
I'm gonna take you guys all back to March of 2024. President Peterson and Finance Chair Peterson and we went to Canada. We were driving home from Winnipeg. And as you guys have probably all noticed, if you've ever had a conversation with any of us, we really like to talk. And so after 5 days together, we ran out of things to talk about. And so we did what we do best, and we talked about student government. And we started spinning ideas off. And this one sparked, and we came back and we got to work on it. And President Peterson started conversations with vendors. Grace and I, we measured the boxes in the women's bathrooms. And it's been a really, really fun project. And we have been excited to see it in the Main Street bathroom. We're really excited to see it be expanded. And I encourage you guys to all read this through and vote yes.
Any further discussion on this resolution? Senator Brink.
So with the expansion of this project to the Wellness Center, is that gonna be a future resolution that we're gonna see, or?
Potentially, yes. So I guess to provide some clarity on this, so when we originally started conversations with the union, our goal was to get it in all of the bathrooms. That had since changed down to one, but to better serve students, we really felt passionately that it should be expanded into multiple. So that's why we're kind of focusing here. The Wellness Center is a very recent thing. So we are very happy with that, but it moved a lot quicker than we were anticipating. So yeah, that's definitely something that is on the table for a future vote and support as well. Any other questions or discussion about this resolution? Okay, seeing none, we'll take this to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please call the roll?
Senators Barnett.
Aye.
Brink.
Aye.
Derek Comfort. Dooley.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Gibney.
Aye.
Pulse.
Aye.
Shell.
Aye.
Shemek.
Aye.
Sierra.
Aye.
Sternhagen.
Aye.
Tennant.
Aye.
Vasquez.
Aye.
Whistler.
Aye.
Finance Chair Peterson. Communications Chair Kennedy. Oh, Government Affairs Chair Kennedy. Chief of Staff Sabo. Aye. Vice President Betts.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and Resolution 24-2-R is approved. I will say additionally, Grace and Claire, one day I came in the office and on my desk laid 2 quarters and 4 tampons. And I asked them what had happened, and they explained to me that they had done research in the union about the machines, and they started with, I don't know, what did you start with? They started with 2 quarters and 0 tampons, and somehow they ended with 2 quarters and 4. I don't know what happened, but the machines are all a little janky. So thank you for your research and all of your help that you have given me on this. Boots on the ground, truly. All right. Moving on to unfinished business, item C, commemoration 24-1-C. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please introduce this item?
I'll do better this time, guys, I promise. Commemoration 24-1-C, title of commemoration reads, the SDSU Students Association commemorates September as National Suicide Prevention Month and Tuesday, September 10th, 2024 as World Suicide Prevention Day. Prime sponsor includes Chief of Staff Sabo. Sponsors include President Peterson, Vice President Bentz, Senators Dooley, Finance Chair Peterson, Communications Chair Fink, Government Affairs Chair Kennecke, Senators Sternhagen, Tennant, Gibney, Garcia, Pulse, Vasquez, Brink, Sierra, Daraconfort.
Would anyone request that this item be read in full? Seeing none, can we entertain a motion to approve? Chief of Staff Sabo. Chief of Staff Sabo, you have the first right to debate.
Yes, I think it is super important that we recognize that mental health is something that we as Students Association are going to prioritize here on our campus. I think that's something that we've done a really good job at the past few years, prioritizing it in past budgets and making sure that our GAF dollars go to providing free counselors for all students here on campus. And I think that recognizing September as National Suicide Prevention Month is super important. Just to recognize that we are here and we are all here for each other. And I think it is super important as a Senate that we support this commemoration.
Any further discussion on this commemoration? Vice President Bentz.
I have a football teammate that I played high school football with and played football with him since 4th grade, and his younger sister just died by suicide this past week. And it's been really tough to see him go through that, his family go through that. I've known that family for a very long time. This individual had a full ride scholarship to come to SDSU to throw the javelin, and seemingly had a really bright future ahead of her. And obviously was not feeling very good. And I think this just kind of goes to show that, it does happen. And then I think just to go along with everything that Ms. Sabo said, you ever are around someone that feels that way, or if you ever feel that way, it's never the right decision to make. But then also, you've always got a person to talk with, in me at least. And that's all I'll just say about that right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Bentz. Any further discussion? Senator Gibney.
Very easy to vote aye tonight. I think it's very difficult to continue to champion this issue. As members of Senate, I would challenge everyone to do that in your student organizations and in the colleges that you represent. It's a scary statistic that most Americans know someone who's taken their own life. Be the person that's a reason that another person stays, and vote aye.
Thank you, Senator Gibney. Chief of Staff Sabo.
I would also like to point out that the numbers for crisis hotlines are in this commemoration. So I know it might not be the first place that you want to check, but if you are ever struggling, know that this piece of information is here for you, and you're welcome to share this with other people as well. There are resources on campus, like I said, that are free for you. So please reach out if you need help.
Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll take this commemoration to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please call the roll?
Senators Barnett.
Aye.
Brink.
Aye.
Daggett. Excused. Daraconfort. Dooley.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Gibney.
Aye.
Pulse.
Aye.
Shell.
Aye.
Schmeck.
Aye.
Sierra.
Aye.
Sternhagen.
Aye.
Tennant.
Aye.
Vasquez. Wisser.
Aye.
Finance Chair Peterson. Government Affairs Chair Kennecke. Chief of Staff Sabo. Aye. Vice President Bentz.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and commemoration 24-1-C is approved. Thank you all. All right. Again, thank you all for that wonderful discussion, but on a brighter note, we are going to move on to new business. Item A, commemoration 24-2-C. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please introduce this item?
Commemoration 24-2-C. Title of commemoration reads, "The SDSU Students Association commemorates September 15th to October 15th, 2024 as Hispanic Heritage Month and encourages students to engage with events commemorating Hispanic Heritage Month." Prime sponsor includes Senator Garcia. Sponsors include President Peterson, Finance Chair Peterson, Chief of Staff Sabo, Government Affairs Chair Kennecke, Communications Chair Fink, Senators Sternhagen, Pulse, Vasquez, Brink, Daggett, and Shemek.
Would anyone request that this item be read in full? Seeing none, we'll vote on this at our next meeting. Move on to new business item B, commemoration 24-3-C. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please introduce this item?
Commemoration 24-3-C. Title of commemoration reads, "The SDSU Students Association commemorates Ari Limonges for her excellent service to the students of SDSU, particularly for her dedication in helping and guiding Latinx and Hispanic students, fostering a supportive and inclusive environment for their success." Prime sponsor includes Senator Garcia. Sponsors include President Peterson, Finance Chair Peterson, Chief of Staff Sabo, Government Affairs Chair Kennecke, Communications Chair Fink, Senators Sternhagen, Pulse, Brink, Daggett, and Shemek.
Would anyone request that this item be read in full? Seeing none, we'll vote on this at our next meeting. Moving on to our final item of new business, item C, our approval and swearing in of senators at large. So I'll invite all of our newly nominated senators to come up to the front. As Vice President Bentz said, the Board of Directors met on Friday night to interview all of these individuals. We actually ended up having 9 individuals apply for the 8 available spots. So all of these individuals we are very excited about getting to serve on our Senate. I hope you all take the chance to get to know them because I think they're all wonderful people. Vice President Bentz, do you have any remarks?
I'm so excited to get to serve with all of you this coming year.
Sorry, I didn't explain that very well. It's the sheet with the less text on it. Stand up here.
Stand right there. Perfect.
On the left of me. Sorry. I should have done the live.
All right. So you all can raise your right hand and repeat after me. Everyone can see one of these, right? Okay. I state your name.
I
Solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the SDSU Students Association.
solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the SDSU Students Association,
Support and proudly represent the students of SDSU.
support and proudly represent the students of SDSU,
And promote the purposes and educational objectives of SDSU.
and promote the purposes and educational objectives of SDSU,
And to faithfully discharge the duties of my elected position to the best of my ability.
and to faithfully discharge the duties of my elected position to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations. Okay, so we did this a little backwards, but we do need a motion to approve them. So can I entertain a motion, Senator Givney? All right, all those in favor of approving those senators at large, please signify by saying aye. All opposed? You are all officially approved. All right, thank you all. Moving on to item 10, topics for future discussion. Are there any topics for future discussion tonight? Senator Brink.
It's more of a question, but I was wondering if there's an update on the.
Yes, that is still open. We are still looking for applicants. So please encourage anyone and everyone to apply if you think they would be a good fit. Thank you. Senator Sternhagen.
Okay, as someone who doesn't usually go into the women's restroom, I am a little bit.
Sorry.
just a little bit curious what these boxes that we just voted on look like, and also if there'd be a possibility to get them added into additional buildings throughout campus, like for example, Rotunda or like Crothers.
Yes, great question. So the current, for those of you who do not menu straight, the current boxes that we have, we only have the boxes in the union. So they're attached to the wall. They're just metal boxes with pads on one side, tampons in the other. And they all, except for the ones in the basement, cost $0.25, which we don't have any other coin operated machines on our campus. I don't know about any of you. I don't ever carry cash with me anymore. So that was kind of what sparked it, as well as just the fact that it was inaccessible. The one in the basement did take dimes, apparently. So anyways, this is what our new dispensers somewhat look like. They're new. Their Aunt Flo is the brand that we use. They're free, so you just push the button, something comes out. And yeah, we are definitely looking to expand. Obviously, the union was our initial idea, as we discussed, just because it is such a heavily trafficked building here. And again, we really want it to be in more bathrooms so that, because when it happens, you don't really get to pick what bathroom. So it doesn't make a lot of sense, but we're working on expanding. But yeah, we're also considering an expansion now that we have the wellness center, thinking about, Rotunda, potentially the library, Wagner Hall, other kind of central areas. But yeah, so if anyone has feedback on where they'd like to see it, let us know. Finance Chair Peterson.
About that too. So we started with the union just because also the union is the only building on campus that has dispensers at all. None of the other buildings on our campus have those dispensers. So obviously we are looking at expanding, but starting with replacing old ones was kind of our first stop. Now we get to explore more options.
Thank you. Senator Brink.
I guess I definitely should have asked this like during discussion on the resolution, but is it gonna be like pads and tampons? And like what grade of quality are we looking at? Is it like cardboard or? Okay.
Yeah, so no, that's a good question. Yes, they are all pads and tampons, and they are organic cotton, both of them. So yeah, they're still, cardboard applicators, but smooth tip for the tampons. So that's good. She asked. Yeah. So we do believe they're still not like high-end products that you would find, but we do believe they're better than the average that what you probably found in your high school that we all suffered through. So yeah. Any further topics for future discussion? Okay, thank you all. I really appreciate the use, and I appreciated the conversations last week as well. I think it led to some really valuable discussions, and especially on Hayden and I's end as we went throughout meetings. So yeah, moving on to announcements. Are there any announcements tonight? Vice President Betts.
If all the new senators want to join me in the office after the meeting, I have something for all of you down there.
Shot of brandy.
It's nothing bad.
It's a free tampon. Just kidding. Sorry. Any other announcements? All right, yes, new senators, we will also have to schedule an orientation for you all. So yes, please do meet us down in the office afterwards. Any other announcements? Okay, seeing none, can I entertain a motion to adjourn? Senator Brink. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye. All opposed, we are adjourned.